I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of
Friday,
those
happy
days.
days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Knock it off, you scumbucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of
Monday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better you, cause I'm fucking up your program. And you feel stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all
Monday,
about,
happy days.
it's just one of
Tuesday,
those,
happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make
Feel like shit. My suggestion is keep the distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something free. Give me something free. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 63 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. Hope you've all had a great weekend. I do apologize there was not a stream this past Sunday. There was a reason for that. I'm pretty sure people have already seen the post I've made on Telegram, but I'll just get to that in just a short second. Let me see here. I got quite a few stories to cover at the moment. Now, I'm not entirely too sure if I'm going to be doing the full 2-hour episode tonight. I think I might maybe do it for about an hour and a half, so maybe up until about 7:30. I'm not entirely too sure, but it really just depends on how I'm feeling at that particular time. But we'll see. We'll definitely see with that. So let me have a look and see just quickly who's in the chat just now, and I'll definitely get right into the show itself. So we have, first of all, Amanda Lee. I think there was another person who commented before, but we'll have a look at this in a moment. Amanda Lee, sorry I can't make tonight's stream, Chief, but I have hit the like button. Catch you all next time. Take care, all 14. No worries, Amanda Lee. I appreciate you being here for a short period, so hopefully you might watch the stream and uncatch up. We'll definitely see. There's also Homa Talk. Hello, Homa Talk. Thanks very much for watching the show. YouTube has Destiny stream recommended under this one. Lol. That is pretty funny, that I would say. Very, very funny indeed. Let me see. We have English Rose. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Budgie Burger. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show as per usual. We also have Canny Henny. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching. Kitchen Skillet, as per usual, thanks very much for watching. There's also Horse, thanks very much for watching the show, Horse. Toby Radley, how you doing? Thanks very much for watching. Exile Viking, thanks very much for watching. Dinner on my lap, cup of tea, close to hand, perfect timing for the stream. Well, that's definitely excellent timing, Exile Viking. So thanks very much for watching the show. Streaky Bacon, something stinks in here, infidels. Well, inshallah to you too. So thanks very much for watching the show as per usual. Let me see here. Even Chief and fellow chatters. Hail to the Chief from Rory Herbert. Thanks very much for that, Rory. Appreciate the comment. We also have, of course, Joe Marsh. Thanks very much for watching the show, Joe. Appreciate it. Let me see. Tricky Who. Hey, Chief Moody and beautiful people in the chat. Hello to you too, Tricky. Thanks very much for watching the show. Appalachian Nationalist. Hail, friends. Hey, I hope everyone is doing well today. Well, same to yourself. Thanks very much for watching the show. Felix Boru, The Tip After Dark. Thanks very much for watching the show, and I appreciate you being here, brother. Let's see. Henry Hill, thanks very much for watching the show. Who else? Who else? I think that's really about it so far. There's also Peter Walker. How you doing, Peter? Thanks very much for watching the show. Let me see. Quite a few more, but I think that's me up to date with that at the moment. So hope everyone is well. Good vibes. Same to yourself, Felix. Thanks very much. Let me see. Just real quick. No, that's me up to date with the chat. Excellent. All right, that's perfect. Right then. I do see, of course, sorry, real quick. There's also High Tower 005, even to you too. Thanks very much for watching. Right. Just a quick update with this past Sunday. Now, I noticed it kind of came off as very last minute. I didn't do a stream this past Sunday. I was going to do a stream, but the problem was at this point in time with the show, I'm feeling a little bit burnt out. Now, don't get me wrong, I love producing Mood of the Nation on a weekly basis, on 2 days per week. I do think the show, and this is only just my opinion, I don't know if anyone may agree or disagree, but I do kind of think the show Mood of the Nation is kind of getting a little bit stale at this point. And I just think it's becoming too much a lot like the other shows going on with PA. So that's PWR, Tea Time with Sam and Laura, Ayatollah's show, PA Talk, etc., etc. Now, again, don't get me wrong with that, but wait a minute, no, oh, no, Toby, I'm not leaving. No, I'll just get to this part in a second. Now, when I'm saying that, I'm not disagreeing any of the PA shows or anything like that. They're all top-notch shows. I do try and watch every single one of them on a weekly basis if I can. All I'm saying is, for me, with Mood of the Nation, it's a case of I do think it's getting a bit stale, and that's why I thought it would give me a bit of time to maybe come up with some ideas to maybe produce better shows and whatnot. Maybe as a way, as a way to maybe try and not making it like a better show, but in a way of trying to help the show stand out a little bit more. But I don't know how I can possibly do that. Although that being said, I think I've got kind of an idea how to do that, especially with a few particular episodes that in the future I'm going to be making them as curveball type of episodes or out of left field type of episodes regarding to that. So I got my notebooks. Well, notebooks, not plural, a notebook, sorry, that I have beside me that I usually write down for ideas, whether it be future episodes for Mood of the Nation or even particular video ideas in the near future. Say, for example, one set of ideas that I have, I'm not going to tell them during the show, obviously, because I want to keep them under wraps, but it is an idea I have at the moment. I definitely want to expand upon that in a future date. So definitely have that written down, and maybe if there's a point, I could definitely see if I can maybe work on that a little bit more. But we'll definitely see with that. We shall see. I do see quite a few people coming in even more. Like there's Rigor Mortis in the chat, which is really good to see. Good guess on your book review was good. Yeah, I kind of want to do that a little bit more. I mean, there's actually quite a few books in my library. Well, not like not like library that like that's near my location, but in my book collection, I do have some books I can maybe go over. For example, I've bought this book ages ago, but I've never actually read it. Um, and I think some of you might cringe when when I tell you what the name of this book. It's a book. I can't remember the name of it, but basically, it's a book called. Well, it's written by Jordan B. Peterson, and it's the one that made him like rose to fame. Kind of. Well, it wasn't the book that rose to fame, but it was the book that people bought. That was part of the whole popularity with Jordan Peterson. I think it's called 12 Rules for Life. I think it's called. So, that's a good question, Rigor Morris. What happened with the idea where viewers can call in? I'm still planning on doing that. Regarding to that, I'm still planning on doing like a call-in show. It's a case of I just need to sort out the how I can get like which particular platform I should do to do like call-ins, like maybe Skype or anything like that at all, and then see how I can work from there. I can maybe speak to someone who does call-in shows, like maybe Jason or no, what guilt or anyone like that at all. But we'll definitely see with that. I'm still on plan on doing that. It's a case of we'll just wait and see more regarding to that. So a call-in format is great. Yeah, I agree. That could be very interesting regarding to like a call-in show. Whereas Mrs. Bear from Toby, I don't have that book, and I don't think I'm good. Dear. Let's see here. Caught one. I nominate Nicola as the first call-in guest. I don't know if that will ever happen, but we'll see. We definitely shall see with that. Gamma Sandwich, how you doing? Hey folks, on shift, so we'll be in and out of chat. Hope everyone is well. Same to yourself, Gammon. Thanks very much for tuning into the show. Let me see here. Right. Sorry, I just have a quick look at the chat. That's fine. Yep, cool. Right then. So, what else was I going to say on the matter? So, I'll probably do that for more future book reviews, or maybe even I think there's ideas for film reviews I want to do as well. I'm not too sure if it would be on the Mood of the Nation or maybe just singular videos. I'm not entirely too sure, but there is one particular film review I really want to do, but I'll keep that under wraps with that just now. So Discord, I don't know about Discord. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. But well, like I said, when it comes to the call-in show, maybe I'd have it as Discord or maybe even Skype. I'm not entirely too sure, but we'll definitely see with that. So we shall see. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Right. Was there another thing? Another update when it comes to the actual show itself. Now, because of the fact that I wasn't here on Sunday, due to the fact that I thought the show was getting a bit stale, I might want to come up with better ideas for future episodes. I think it's going to be kind of the same for this coming Sunday and next Sunday. Not because of the stalemate of the show, but I think it's mainly because I'm going to be pretty busy this coming weekend and next weekend in terms of activities with PA Scotland. So I don't want to say too much about that, but it's still something is going to be completely under wraps just now. But what I will say is that there's definitely plans going on with PA Scotland, and I'm definitely going to be involved with that. So, I'll keep it under wraps, but that's all I'm going to say on the matter. But just to say that there's a strong possibility that episodes during Sundays this weekend and next weekend, I don't know if they're going to happen, but if there's any updates with that, what to do is follow me on Telegram with Chief Moody official channel on Telegram, and then because that's normally where I post in terms of updates for my content anyway. So definitely follow me on there, or if you can't find me there, I'll see if I can post stuff on my community page on YouTube. Again, just keep you guys up to date when it comes to that for any future updates on the show in and of itself. So I'll keep you guys posted with that regardless. Right then, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just get started on the show just now. 32 people watching, which is a good number to say the least. Hopefully, more people will come along, but we'll definitely see with that. I'll start off with the first topic. Now, this was something that I talked about. I did talk about last week. It's to do with the SNP and their idea. Idea in quotations about chopping down the bottom parts of each and every school door to improve quote unquote the air ventilation for COVID. Let me see. Horse Chief Moody, are you still on Twitter? Worth going out with a bang. I am still on Twitter, which I'm actually still surprised I'm on there. Worth going out with a bang. Yeah. I really don't want to be on Twitter anymore, but I don't want to be to the point where I completely delete my account. I want it to be the case of it gets completely suspended or anything like that at all. But no, you're right. Maybe it could be a good idea to go out with a bang when it comes to my Twitter account. But we'll see. We definitely shall see with that. It'd be fun. Yeah, it would be fun, definitely. Right then. So we'll just continue on what I just left off there. So, and also Bill Athling, forgot to mention, thank you very much for watching the show. So I did talk about that last week, and it's kind of a funny update about that, to say the least. What I'll do is I'll put up a picture of something that was posted. Let me see if I can find it here. I'll share that, and I'll see if I can find an article that's an even more recent update with that as well. Let me see if I can find it here, and I'll share the screen. Right. Now, I remember with last week's stream when we talked about this particular topic, I remember the fact that there was a lot of concerns from parents and David Davis fire doors in schools. Fuck halfwits. I think like fire escapes or whatnot, but there was a lot of concern from parents and even the the fire department themselves were just like, hold on, maybe this is not really a good idea. Sorry, excuse me, a good idea to maybe do that with these doors, like every single door in the schools. Let me just share the screen. I'll show you what I mean. So let me see. Here we go. Firefighters have called for the SNP to rethink their plan to chop the bottoms off fire doors to improve ventilation. Despite the outcry of confusion and laughter the SNP have received from the Scottish people, Nicola Sturgeon calls chopping up doors common sense, quote unquote. The SNP are in desperate need to rethink this plan. They are putting schools' children in more danger than COVID could ever have been. So, how incredibly funny is it that the firefighters themselves are like, hey, this is pretty retarded what you're doing, SNP. Maybe you shouldn't fucking do that because this is actually going to be causing a lot more harm than good. I'm sorry. I'm still laughing at the fact that people, especially the SNP, actually think this was a good idea. I never once thought of it as like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't possibly do that. This is going to do a lot more harm than good. But anyway, so fire doors, smoke. I mean, yeah, there is windows in Scotland, but I mean, you think maybe they would open the windows, maybe that might solve the problem, but apparently not. But oh well. Hello, Jacob J4746. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. Jojo Gizmo, even to you too. Now then, so since we covered that, it's not particularly over yet. There's another article that's more like an update case of that. So let me have a look and see this right here from the Daily Express. Hello, Duskin. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching the show. And also English Weather. How you doing? Sturgeon is insustainable in that case in the mission. Indeed that. Very true with that. Let me see here. Now, because of the fact it's still me, I've been here before. No, I know you have, Jacob. I know you have. But thanks again for watching the show as per usual. Anyway, so because of that with the SMP, of the amount of ridicule, the amount of ridicule this idea has been received by the public, and the SNP were just completely embarrassed by this idea, which of course, they should be embarrassed by that. Like, why shouldn't they? Well, here's an article that's more of an update about that, as I mentioned before, by the Daily Express. Rewriting history, SNP slammed after denying plans to saw classroom doors to stop COVID. The SNP has been slammed after the Scottish Education Secretary claimed opposition parties had willfully misunderstood, quote unquote, government plans to chop the bottom of classroom doors off. So, in a way for them to try and backpedaling their idea, they're trying to make it as, oh no, hold on, all of you other oppositional parties, you got it all wrong. Like we this was never our idea. We never want to literally chop the bottom parts of every single doors in every single school in this country. No, like you're just this is just a misunderstanding. You're taking this completely out of context. It's just the audacity of the SNP, the sheer fucking audacity of this party. This was an idea that they've clearly showcased to everyone. Hey, this is what we want to do to improve COVID within schools. People laughed at the idea and said to the SNP, what the fuck are you thinking? This is fucking ridiculous. And because of that, now they're trying to backpedal and say, oh, well, no, you got it all wrong. Fucking audacity with the SNP. Here's a short video we can watch. Just see from there. Nicola Sturgeon slams Ross's absurd line of questioning. Let's have a look at this. I'm sure we'll play it, but we'll have a look and see. Right, let me see here with that. Oh no, let me just quickly refresh the page and then I'll see if I can. Should be able to play. I don't know why it's not, but if it's not playing it, then we'll just move on to the next part of the article. Oh well, okay, it's not playing. I don't know why, but oh well, it's a shame that. Anyway, Shirley Ann Somerville, someone we covered on the show before, 47, instead described the plan to saw off part of classroom doors as just one element in an example scenario. Right, an example scenario. I highly doubt it's going to be looked at as a example scenario. But anyway, moving on. The Dunfermline MSP also claimed the £300,000 move would only have been introduced if other measures aimed led to changes in the air pressure or made doors harder to open. Such fucking bullshit. They clearly said, hey, this could possibly be a good idea for air purification, and the cost would be £300,000 because it was fucking cheaper. So are they really going to come off in this way of saying, oh, well, we shouldn't really, this is not what we were planning on doing. In fact, we were going to plan on doing this, and this was only the case if shit hits the fan, basically. That's what they're trying to say here. It's absolutely fucking absurd. Oh my god! And this is meant to be the people in charge of the Scottish government, the SNP. Unbelievable. Anyway, however, Ms. Somerville's comments were ridiculed after she sent a letter to Holyrood's Education Committee setting out the proposal. She also revealed that last week, around 2,000 classrooms have been identified as having problematic, quote-unquote, carbon dioxide levels due to inadequate ventilation. The Scottish Education Secretary said a total of £5 million would be needed to cover the cost of sawing off the bottom of classroom doors, the doors, the filtration units, and extraction fans. It is expected to cost £150 to shorten each door. Unbelievable, this. Let's see. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, 51. I don't know why it needs to emphasize on the age, but anyway. Defended the plan as common sense after Scottish Tory leader Douglas Ross, 39, branded the proposal as bonkers. Willie Rennie, 54, who led the Scottish Liberal Democrats from 2011 to 2021, said the Education Secretary is stretching credibility to claim that this is all a deliberate misunderstanding when it was her that provided detailed costings for getting it done. Exactly that. Let me see. But the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service and the Fire Brigade Union warned removing the bottom of doors could help smoke and fire spread if a blaze broke out at a classroom or even at the local school. They also called for an urgent meeting with the Scottish Government over the plans. Yeah, that's how bad it is. It's so bad that even the fire department in Scotland were like, no, as I mentioned before, like, no, you shouldn't do that. This is a really, really bad idea. But anyway, Indigenous Advocate, hello. Thanks very much for watching the show. Let me see here. We'll just finish off the article and then we'll move on to the next one. The next one is going to be pretty juicy, but we shall stay with that. North East Scotland's Tory MSP Tess White, 56, asked on Tuesday whether Miss Somerville entered talks with the FBU. However, the Education Secretary responded by insisting we have no such plans. Miss Somerville added contributions in this chamber last week were based on a willfully misunderstanding of examples of mitigations that local authorities may implement under certain circumstances to improve ventilation in problematic spaces in schools. However, Ms. White said this is an astonishing rewriting of history by the SNP's education system. Indeed it is. Resisting the lies, thanks very much for watching the show. But yeah, it's a complete joke. The SNP are just a complete joke. They know that this was a complete well, even the SNP themselves know that this was a complete joke, to the point where they're trying to rewrite the fucking history and act like as if, oh no, we never came up with that. This is just a big old misunderstanding and trying to make us look bad. It's a complete joke. Like, honestly, Nicola Sturgeon and everyone from the SNP, just retire. You're a complete fucking joke. No one takes you seriously. Your support is slowly but surely diminishing, including the support for a independent Scotland. And you should just stop. Just completely, utterly stop. Honestly, what a fucking joke of a party. But anyway, Nicola thinks it's called Nicola Thins. I'm assuming Thin Lips defending is Parliament was Pete Cringe, the door and the knob debacle. Indeed, look at his face, laugh my ass off. Yeah, indeed. Oh man, 37 people watching the show. That's good stuff. Really good stuff. Right then, I'll just move on to the next topic, and then we'll move on. I would say what I would call the main subject matter of the show, because I know tonight's episode is called The Honkening, and due to that, I think you will all know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. But before I cover that, I'll move on to the next one here. Now, this was something that was covered, I'm sure, on other shows like PWR. I think Sam and Laura covered it on their show, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. I'll just get the article up just now. This is the one, right? Let's see here. Copy and paste that, and then I'll share the screen again. Let's have a look here. Don't want. There we go. Right. Let's have a look here. Now, this is an article from Newsweek, published today, in fact, 10th of February. But I think that this was also published on other platforms or other articles before. And I'll just share the screen, and I'll get to this part here. This might be the case. People might be a bit annoyed with this particular subject matter, but let's have a look at this. ADL, or the Anti-Defamation League, modifies definition of what it means to be racist. Oh dear. It's happening, folks. They're redefining the definition of racism. So I think this is meant to be Whoopi Goldberg addresses the View Holocaust comments on the Late Show. I think we'll quickly watch this video and then I'll get into the article itself. Ethan Roscoe, thanks very much for watching the show. Let me see. So 35 seconds long, and we'll play it. Get the sound on. I'll full screen it as well. So let's have a look. See. 3, 2, 1.
As a black person, I think of race as being something that I can see. So I see you and I know what race you are. And the discussion was about how I felt about that. I felt that it was really more about man's inhumanity to man and how horrible people can be to people. And we're seeing it manifest itself these days. But people were very angry and they said, no, we are a race. And I understand. I felt differently. I respect everything everyone is saying to me.
And that's that. Yeah, I'll briefly talk about this just now, but this was something that caught my attention this past week. It was pretty funny because this was something that Whoopi Goldberg talked about on The View. And because of this, I think she's been suspended for 2 weeks, which is still pretty funny. So, but it's pretty funny to see that even with her last name Goldberg, she's still not safe from the hands of the small hats. But anyway, I'll just get into the article itself. Speaking of the small hats, well, this is what we're going to be talking about: the Anti-Defamation League. The Anti-Defamation League has broadened its definition of what it means to be racist in response to criticism that its earlier description was too narrow. Jonathan Greenblatt, CEO of the New York-based civil rights group, announced the change Wednesday in an essay posted online titled Getting It Right in Defining Racism. He explained that the ADL, founded in 1913, began reconsidering an earlier definition of racism in response to recent criticisms that its description was too centered on white privilege and excluded other experiences. Oh, lordy. This is going to be fun. The ADL's update comes after actress Whoopi Goldberg brought the topic to the forefront after saying on Monday that the Holocaust was not about race. Greenblatt and others swiftly took to Twitter to condemn Goldberg's remarks, but the ADL soon had its own blowback to deal with. This is a quote from them. I agree, but the ADL's new definition of racism isn't helping. Christina Summers, a senior fellow at the Right Learning American Enterprise Institute, replied on Twitter. The ADL has revised its definition of racism during the summer of 2020. According to Internet Archives, at the time, the US was seeing waves of racial justice protest. In response, the ADL defined racism as the marginalization and or oppression of people of color based on a social constructed racial hierarchy that privileges white people. So basically, it's a case of it's only racism when it's towards non-whites, but if it's racism towards whites, then no, that's completely fine because they got privilege. So it's clearly another case of this anti-white rhetoric we're seeing today, especially by a group by the ADL. Let me see here. But I believe because of the blowback from this, I think they've changed it again. So let's have a look here with this. Previously, the ADL had defined racism as the belief that a particular race is superior or inferior to another, that a person's social and moral traits are predetermined by his or her inborn biological characteristics. In recent days, others took note of the newer definition centered on white privilege. This is a quote. Not only was the original one correct, the new one both excludes even the Nazis, racial anti-Semitism, and among other absurdities, meaning that, or it means that not only a single one of the 1.3 billion or so Han Chinese living in China is a racist. David Bernstein, George Mason University School of Law professor, said on Twitter. Let me have a look here and see. Oh, just real quick. Gamma Sandwich. Chief Booty, her name isn't really Whoopi Goldberg. Her actual last name is Johnson or Johnston. Whoopi is made up too, of course. I think some actors in the past used to do that. They would make up names to not necessarily get famous, but as a way of more like brand. I think it's more to do with like maybe brand recognition or something like that. But I know there's quite a few actors in history that had changed their names to make them either stand out or like again for like brand recognition or something along like that. But anyway, let me see. Hassan Abdul Hassan, research fellow at the Foundation of Defense of Democracies. That's a funny democracies. Oh dear. Said on Twitter that the ADL had changed its definition of racism from classic to more popular, which he said was indicative of mob rule. Greenblatt, who has since made peace with Goldberg, said in his essay on Wednesday that we certainly don't always get it right. I'm sure you don't always get it right, of course. He explained that the ADL updated its definition to reflect the explicit targeting of people of color and others by the white supremacist extremism we have tracked for decades. So again, it's another case of anti-whiteism with that. Well, this is true. This new frame narrowed the meaning of in other ways. Sorry, he continued, and by being so narrow, the resulting definition was incomplete, rendering it ineffective and therefore unacceptable. It's true. It's just not the whole truth. It alienated many people who did not see their own experience encompassed in this definition, including many in the Jewish community. Greenblatt said he didn't even recognize his own family's experience with racism, the experience as Jews in the Middle East. The ADL's updated definition now reads, racism occurs when individuals or institutions show more favorable evaluation or treatment of an individual or group based on race or ethnicity. The definition was developed by Professor Robert Livingston of the Center for Public Leadership at Harvard University. Now, to be fair, I did check out the ADL website before the show started, and that is true. This definition right here, that is the current definition they have for racism. But there was a case that they try to make it out as if like non-whites are the only ones who experience racism, whereas white people don't. So, of course, because of the blowback from that, the ADL decided to change it over to this definition as I showcased before. But again, it really goes to show that there's still an anti-white rhetoric with this case. And I think even just from the terminology or the sentencing regarding to this definition here, it's still to me and maybe this is just me. I don't know if anyone may agree or disagree, but it still kind of comes off as it's more of a definition that's favoring to non-whites than white people, because again, it's another way of just completely just making white people look bad because of the whole white privilege aspect to it and all of that. The definition will serve as an interim definition while the ADL gets feedback on how to have a better description, and that's the end of that article. Oh, don't get me started on Joe Rogan regarding to this part here. So yes, that was hello English Sailor. Thanks very much for watching the show. So that's the ADL's current definition at the time when it comes to racism. But I mean, fuck the ADL. I mean, who also takes them seriously? Like anyone? Does anyone really take them seriously? I sure as hell don't. Right then. So what time is it? Half past. Well, just about 6:30. Right. So I'm speeding through this. Great. Right. Okay. So real quick from Henry Hill. Mental gymnastics, in her opinion, is hilarious. Africans clean up at all distance in athletics. Yeah, good point. Good point. Man. Let's see here. Doskin. They can't name one instance of white on black in anything besides porn. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Changing names is nothing. I changed species. Right, fair enough. She gave herself a Jewish name to get more famous. Yeah, the possibly might be exactly well one of the reasons with that. So just have a quick look at Telegram. That's fine. Okay, no worries. Perfect. Right then. So I'll move on to the main topic at hand. Well, maybe I could briefly talk about the whole Joe Rogan debacle that happened. Now, I'm not going to get into it too much because I think everyone in our circles have talked about it as well. Just have a quick look at my notes to see what I was going to talk about. I could talk about maybe briefly about Jimmy Carr, but I'm not really a fan of Jimmy Carr to be quite honest. And I do know that Sam and Laura, because I watched their recent episode this past Monday, they've talked about this as well. But if I can maybe mention something about the whole Jimmy Carr thing, I seem to think that it's just basically from like a marketing ploy. A lot of people are saying that the whole thing with Jimmy Carr is meant to be his like his swan song type of thing. Is meant to be his last ever performance. But nah, I don't think he's going to be gone for good. I think he will come back, and this whole thing is basically just a complete marketing gimmick on his part. And even if he were to come back, the whole he's not going to apologize. I mean, I think he will apologize as a way of trying to get back into the spotlight. But I could be wrong on that. I don't know, but it might be the case. It might not be the case. What Sam said on his show, maybe he could be right. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, we just need to wait and see on that part. Jimmy Carr has one good joke, the one about mosquito nests and AIDS. He's hoping to get cancelled. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. Maybe, but again, I might be wrong with what I'm saying, but I might be right. I don't know yet. But again, it's just a case of we'll just need to wait and see with that. Sign up to justify hate speech laws, possibly. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that. Now, let me just quickly touch upon the Joe Rogan thing. I think what happened to Joe Rogan, I mean, it was inevitable that there were going to be cancellation attempts when it comes to his show and, of course, on Spotify. But I think what was really damning about the whole thing with Joe Rogan, the fact that he talked about this on his show, the Joe Rogan Experience, that you should never apologize to the mob. You should never back down or anything like that at all. And look what he did. He apologized, which in my mind makes him a complete utter fucking cuck. Because he was right in saying on the show, you'd never ever apologize to the mob because that's exactly what they want you to do. Because that means they have power over you. And of course, if you apologize, then you've basically cut to them. Like they basically own you now at that point. Bill Laughlin, real quick. Chief Foodie, who knows what will come next in Clown World? It's open season. No, you're right on that part, Bill. You're right on that. Anything can happen at this point. And I do mean anything can happen at this point. Let me have a quick look here. I think I'll just move on to, as I said, I'm just going to briefly touch upon the Joe Rogan thing because, again, many people in our circles have talked about it, and I think not. I think the show is going to be still going, but I think it's going to be the start of the new era when it comes to Joe Rogan. But we'll see. Let me see. You're just feeding the mob. Once you apologize, they want more. Exactly the descendant thoughts. Exactly that. Exactly. Let me move over to the main topic, which is the Freedom Convoy 2022. Now, this all first started back in January. Now, the whole point of this was in response to the Canadian government's, I believe it's the mandatory jabs when it comes to truckers from Canada. And that was passed on January 15th, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, it was a way of saying to the truckers, hey, either get jabbed to keep your job, or basically don't bother keeping your job because of it. You're a scumbag because you don't take the jab. Well, because of that whole thing, the truckers decided to say to say no to that and decided to have convoys across. I believe that it's in Ottawa in Canada. I don't know if it's all across Canada for that matter. But I have seen the major response to this from all over the world, especially here in the UK. There's been convoys in Glasgow, Edinburgh. I think there's stuff going on in London, I believe there was. Uh, the whole convoy freedom rallies, if you will, that was a response to what's going on in Canada, which I think is really good stuff to see what the Canadian truckers are doing. As basically, it's all just a big fuck you to the Canadian government and Justin Trudeau, which I'm seeing a lot of the truckers saying that they really do not like Justin Trudeau to the point where they really want him gone or resign as the Prime Minister of Canada, which really does speak a lot of volumes with that. So. Let me see. Just real quick from Dotskin. The thing with Rogan is that he has that money, but if he pisses those people off, he won't be able to use any of it. Exactly. So, which again, it just really goes to show that it was never about the principle aspect to it. It was just all about the shekels with Joe Rogan. And fuck Joe Rogan for that. Let me see if I can get the first article about the Freedom Convoy 2022. And then I actually do have a couple of videos I want to showcase because some of them are actually pretty funny to watch. Let me see. Actually, you know what? I'll do that first of all. I'll play the video because I was actually meant to play that on the last episode 62. Let me see if I can find that. Now, I'm not going to play the entirety of the video. I'm just...
So if you guys are wondering what...
I might as well. This is just about 2 minutes and 25 seconds long. Let me see here, and I'll share the screen real quick. There we go. I'll play the video first, and then I'll get the article up afterwards. Before I do that, let me just... I think that's copied... here, yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then I'll get the video up here. Oh god, fucking damn it! Hold on. There we go. Right, perfect. That should be that's the one. Okay, so play the video first, and then we'll start with the article. Right, so here we go. So the this is a video. I don't know if people have seen this video already, but this is a prime example of all of the people just completely spurging out over these this freedom rally or freedom convoys, and seeing the people who, like the pro-vaccination people, just spurging out has been absolutely fucking hilarious. But I'll just play the video just now and then see for yourself. So 3, 2, 1.
So if you guys are wondering what this shit is doing to the NPC normies that live down here, check this shit out.
Fucking stuff! Get out of my fucking city!
But the thing is,
Get out of my fucking city! Hey, fuck you!
there's a lot.
What fucking freedom have you lost? What freedom have you lost? freedom you've lost. I lost my mind because I haven't slept in 5 fucking days. I fucking hear it. And it's not even a word. I love it's just the diesel engine. It's enough to drive a fucking person crazy. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to stop. Hey, Chris. I wanted to stop. It has to fucking stop.
Then it stops when the government lifts the mandates.
You fucking idiot! The mandates are provincial, not federal! The mandates, if you're mad about wearing a mask or getting a fucking vaccine, go talk to Doug Ford!
I had to pause it. Yeah, oh dear, he seems a little upset. Just the fact that he's completely spurging out, like, oh my god. And I love how he's like what freedom have you lost? Well, people are being forced to take the vaccine because they don't want to, whether it be to do with their job related situations, or maybe because of the fact that it's the idea of their body, their choice. Yeah, he should get a Snickers bar after that. Better. It's just like, oh my god, John Cleese level irritation. And it's going to be a timeless classic. Just, I love just how compliant people like this guy really are. It's cognitive dissonance. It's completely absurd. The fact that they never ever think for themselves, and they'll just follow everything that the government tells them to do. It's shocking. It really is utterly shocking. I mean, we can laugh about this all we want, but there are people around the world, especially here in the UK, that are like this, who are just so compliant of the government, especially here in Scotland. In fact, there was even recent news that I've seen at my work earlier today. It was something to do with like not necessarily lockdowns here in Scotland, but I think it's all to do with like COVID restrictions, or like the COVID rules that are going to be extended for another 6 months. And it's just like, why? Over in England, I think the COVID restrictions have been slightly lifted up. At least I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if anyone who's English in the chat can maybe correct me about that. But I think there has been some lifts of the COVID restrictions down in England. But of course, here in Scotland, whatever England does, but we'll just do the opposite of that. So we're just going to basically have it be extended for another 6 months, and it's like, but that's going to be towards, wait a minute, so we're in February, so March, April, May, June, July, August. That's going to be in August. That's basically towards the end of the summer. Are you actually fucking serious? I mean, what's the point? People are not buying the fucking bullshit of this whole COVID-19 stuff anymore. I mean, we've even talked about this before. The mainstream media themselves have even talked about stuff that were once considered to be fake news or false, but actually turned out to be fucking true. So, like, what's the point? People are just seeing through the BS that is the COVID restrictions when it comes to that. Hell, even when the whole Omicron shit first started, people then bought that bullshit, even though the mainstream media and the politicians desperately tried their best to make it look as if it's going to be the worst thing possible. But even that came out as if, like, oh, it's not really as bad. In fact, it's just basically the common flu. That's basically the case when it came to the whole Omicron variant. Real quick from Bill Athling, I'm starting to be convinced that there really are NPCs. No inner dialogue, just playing out a role. Yeah, and this guy would be a prime example of this. So we're just almost finishing the video. We'll just get cracking on to the last part of the video. So 3, 2, 1.
Okay, well, you know what?
The fucking Prime Minister has nothing to do with this!
Actually, he does.
Do you know anything about civics?
Yes, I do, because didn't the federal government make vaccine mandates for all federal employees?
No,
and all federal...
It's a requirement for your fucking job!
Yeah, exactly. That's part of the mandates, man.
Karen! Karen!
Can.
Well, that's a choice.
It's not a
Chose
choice.
not to, they lost their job.
The honking will continue until freedom improves. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Fuck you.
Fuck me. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Join us.
Trudeau says we have no right in the country.
I do want to listen. But I've lost my fucking patience. We're up these guys. We can do it. This is too much.
The honking will continue until freedom improves. I got that footage myself, and that's what your donos are going to, guys. Keeping me here so I can bring you that content. You'll love to see it.
Excellent. Really good stuff. I hope you've all enjoyed that video. Now, I'll get into the actual article itself well, I believe it's from The Independent, but this was on the MSN news, I believe it is. So basically, it's like their version of the Independent article. But anyway, Trudeau accuses Canada truckers of hate, abuse, and racism as he tests positive for COVID after evacuation. Canadian Prime Minister blasted a convoy of truckers protesting vaccine mandates as showing disrespect to science, quote unquote. Yeah, believe in the science, bigot, and championing hate, abuse, and racism hours after announcing he had tested positive for COVID-19. By the way, does anyone actually believe that Justin Trudeau actually had COVID-19, or is it basically just like a way of getting out of Dodge regarding to that? But anyway, so the guy has been reading too many superhero comics. You're racist, says Trudeau in blackface as he flees from his own capital. That is such a great point. I love how he is blasting all of the trucker convoys of promoting hatred, abuse, and of course racism. When this is the same motherfucker in a party at one time, he was in fucking blackface. Well, he tries to be all fucking progressive and shit, but years ago, oh lordy, I'm Justin Trudeau. Where's the watermelon at? You know, it's like, Justin, you have no room to talk to criticize anyone of being a racist when you were in blackface. What the fuck are you doing? Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, Mr. Trudeau delivered fiery remarks at a virtual press conference on Monday afternoon after he was evacuated to a safe location over the weekend as thousands of truckers defended on Ottawa to block roadways. Ah, dear. Police have said most demonstrators have been peaceful, but local residents complain they are fed up with the non-stop blaring of truck horns and demonstrators using the streets as an open-air toilet. Some also forced a homeless shelter to give them food. The shelter said on Twitter, while others flew Nazi flags. Of course, there's all the accusations of white supremacy, quote unquote, which I do have an article about that later on. But of course, the majority of the protesters are white, so of course they're going to use the whole white supremacist argument that, oh, these truckers are throwing up Nazi flags. Like, this is clearly a sign of white supremacy and Nazism at foot. Like, fuck off. Addressing the media, Mr. Trudeau said Canadians were disgusted by the behavior of some protesters. Okay, like, is there maybe a percentage of that? Is there maybe an example of this utter disgust? Except for that one video of that one guy, Ben, I think the guy who spelled out his name was. It's just like, it's ridiculous. It's completely. I think the only group of people I'm thinking who would be completely against this whole freedom rally or this freedom convoy 2022 are the same groups of people who are complete NPCs. You know, these lefty types who claim to be anti-establishment, but they're basically part of the establishment. You know, who basically follow orders of what the government tells them, no any thought of themselves, don't even have the fucking balls to even stand by their own principles or anything like that at all. But they're basically a bunch of LARPing douchebags. But anyway, addressing the media. Oh, I've read that part. Here's a quote from him as well. We are not intimidated by those who hurl abuse at small businesses of business workers and steal food from the homeless, he said. He won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We don't cave to those who engage in vandalism, says the guy who was evacuated by this because of COVID, but no one believes the fact that he had COVID. But the fact that he evacuated, and then also saying that he's not going to stand for racial hatred or abuse or anything like that at all, like fuck off. No one buys that shit for a second, Trudeau. No one buys that shit for a second. He continued, and also actually just before I continue on, I really want to see if there's any proof of evidence of any stealing food from the homeless, because I doubt that for a fucking second. I highly doubt that for a second. And by the way, how disgusting is it that these lefty types who are making that claim are probably the same group of people who don't care about the homeless in any way, shape, or form? You know, really makes you think that, doesn't it? Really makes you think that. Let me see here. He continued, there is no place in this country for threats, violence, or hatred, so to those responsible for this behavior, it needs to stop. To anyone who joined the convoy but is rightly uncomfortable with the symbols of hatred and division on display, join with your fellow Canadians, be courageous and speak out. Do not stand for or with intolerance and hate. Well, the mental gymnastics from this guy, I mean, you wonder what's actually more ballsy and more brave? People like the convoy, like truckers who are actually standing by and saying, look, we're not taking the vaccine mandates because it goes against our principles, it goes against the idea of my body, my choice, and we shouldn't have to take a vaccine in order to keep our jobs. So go fuck yourself with your mandatory vaccination, Trudeau. Go fuck yourself with that. Let me see. We're sorry this video cannot be played from your current location. All right, fair enough. That's fine. Earlier in the day, as protests against vaccine mandates obstructed streets and businesses in the national capital, Mr. Trudeau revealed his COVID diagnosis and implored citizens to get their shots. Of course he would. Of course he would. Hello, Julia Skinner. Thanks very much for watching the show. This is a tweet from Justin Trudeau himself. I'll close that real quick and read it out. This morning, I tested positive for COVID-19. I'm feeling fine, and I'll continue to work remotely this week while following public health guidelines. Everyone, please get vaccinated and get boosted. Of course, he would say that. Of course, he would. Prime Minister, who also had to isolate with his wife after exposure in March 2020, entered isolation on Thursday after it was confirmed he had been exposed to somebody with the virus, a requirement that meant he would have missed the upcoming reopening of Parliament. Regardless of his own status, he joins a list of Canadian ministers who have tested positive over the past few months. Mr. Trudeau and his family have also been transported from their home to an undisclosed secure location over fears of the truckers' protest in Ottawa. See, this is the thing. What the fuck do they think that the protesters are going to do? I love how they claim that the protesters are all violent and shit, but I've seen all the videos, I've seen all the posts, I've seen people talking about it. I've never seen any form of violence from these people whatsoever. Never seen any form of violence whatsoever. So complete utter bullshit that. But anyway, let me see. AKA the Freedom Convoy could carry the potential for violent threats against them and other mainstream Canadian politicians. Actually, you know what? I was going to save this article for later on, but I think it needs to be told because I love how Trudeau, these pro-vaccine people are claiming that, oh, these protesters are causing violence and they're going to create violence because of their disruption and whatnot. Well, let me get to this article right here because as much as I've said earlier on that it's not just in Canada this is all happening, but this is happening all across the West. Let me show you this article right here. So to Trudeau and everyone who are saying that these convoy protesters are violent thugs or whatnot. Check this out from the DC Weekly. Let me see here. Update: Man who rammed car into Winnipeg Freedom Convoy protesters is Antifa activist David Zagarak. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I mean I don't care because the guy was an absolute fucking scumbag. On Saturday, several freedom protesters were injured by a vehicle that appeared to intentionally ram into a truck and run over at least one protester in Winnipeg. This was a brutal attack. And I've never actually seen this, but what is this exactly? Oh, this is from Twitter. The status, I hope it doesn't have anything. Too bad. The left starts violence in Winnipeg, car hitting protesters. I don't know if I can actually play this video, but hold on. Let me just stop sharing the screen just real quick, and I'll get back onto that. Hold on. I just want to double check and see if it's nothing too
If anybody's wondering why there's a bunch of police here taking statements, and fire truck just left, but there's an ambulance right there.
Oh no, I think it's the aftermath of that. Right, hold on one sec. I'll get to sharing the screen real quick again, and we'll see from here. So here is a video. This is the aftermath of that. What happened in Winnipeg? Absolutely disgusting stuff. But let me just get back up to here. So let's have a look at this and see from there.
So if anybody's wondering why there's a bunch of police here taking statements, and fire truck just left, but there's an ambulance right there. You know, this is kind of funny because they call us racist and we're violent and we're breaking stuff. But look at what's going on. This is ridiculous. Clips 3 people with his vehicle and decides that he's gonna hit another guy full on, lands on the guy's hood and rolls off. Now, this don't make sense. But now I have a problem with the vaxxed people. I'll tell you that right now. Some of you vax people, you're getting real violent just because you watch the news and you listen to Justin Trudeau. Fuck Trudeau. This is some bullshit right here. I'm sick and tired of you labeling us. And then the other ones want to sit at home and go on their little keyboards and call us white supremacists.
And that's the end of that video. I don't know if there's maybe like a follow-up to that, but yeah. So in regards to Justin Trudeau and all the pro-vaccination people claiming that the Freedom Convoy are going to be like violent thugs and whatnot. Well, here you have a case example of a guy on their side, on the pro-vaccination, an Antifa type, basically running people down because they dared to protest the vaccine mandates. But again, the protesters for the Freedom convoys, they're the violent ones. Let's have a look at this. Now the masked man who ran over the Winnipeg Freedom Convoy protesters is an Antifa activist. Dave Zagarik was arrested and taken into custody an hour after the attack following a brief struggle with police. According to Rebel News, David Zagarik is a far-left Antifa activist. According to Rebel News, again, Davis Zagarik, a 43-year-old musician from Winnipeg who describes himself as Indigenous, Serbian, and Irish, is the frontman of Canadian punk bands the Brat Attack, Dead Peasants Revolt, the Black Mass Brigade, and Class War Kids. Jesus, this is what I hate about modern day punk when it comes to that. Like, not only do the modern day bands sound incredibly cringy and just gay as fuck, but I hate the fact that all these lefty types, these Antifa types, who look at punk and think, oh, punk is so left wing, fuck the establishment, fuck Trump. It's like, mate, that's not punk. Punk isn't about basically like what you claiming it to be, because all these Antifa types and these lefty douchebags, they're all LARPing douchebags. Oh yeah, like fuck the establishment, bitch. You're part of the fucking establishment. What are you talking about? And for them to use punk as a way of, oh yeah, like you fuck the establishment, fuck Trump. Wait, okay, I'm just going to talk about Trump just a little bit here regarding to that. Like, punk isn't about bitching and complaining about what the current status quo. Now, at the time when Trump was the president, what was the status quo then? Bitching and shitting on Donald Trump. Punk was a co-op really early on. I wouldn't be surprised of that, to be quite honest. To me, punk is about standing by your own beliefs and what you truly believe in, not what all the cringy shit we're seeing today. Antifa are the first line of defense of the establishment. Exactly, they're basically tools of the establishment. I mean, isn't it true that that Antifa are basically backed by George Soros or something like that? So who are they to fucking say that they're the arbiters of anti-establishment and all that when they're basically working for the fucking establishment? Who are they kidding here? Let me see. David Alexander Zagaric, 42, of Headingley, has been formally charged with 11 offences. Oh dear! And I wonder if there's a. I wonder if this is actually a tweet about the offences. Let's have a look at this real quick. Let me see here. 11 offences. So let's have a look at that. So this is all his his record regard to the offences in question. So, 42-year-old male from Headingley, Manitoba, faces charges of assault with a weapon 4 times, dangerous operation of a conveyance caused bodily harm twice, dangerous operation of a conveyance, failed to stop after accident, knowing that reckless, twice for doing that, failed to stop at scene of accident twice in doing that. He was detained in custody. Constable Rob Carver, Public Information Officer, Constable J. Murray, Public Information Officer, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, so clearly he's not like obviously like a good person or anything like that at all. They're only fooling themselves. Yeah, they are. They are only fooling themselves, Joe. But going back onto this, so clearly he's not like a very decent person. What we're talking about here, he definitely comes off like a massive scumbag. David Alexander Zagaric was behind the wheels of the car that struck 4 men when he attempted to murder protesters. He's been charged with assault with a weapon and not with attempted murder, which really makes you think, doesn't it? Because the descriptions of what actually happened, it sounded like this David gentleman was basically intentionally ramming people down. So, how is that not attempted murder? I don't know that, but again, I guess it's only like rules for thee, but not for thee type of argument. But anyway, really disgusting that. And again, just to point out the claim here, or make a point here, it's the Freedom Rally people who are protesting the mandatory mandates when it comes to vaccines. They're the violent ones, apparently. Let's see. Well, the protest is ostensibly focused on the truckers' freedom to work and go about their everyday lives without proving their vaccination status. Members of the crowd have been seen carrying Confederate flags and right-wing symbols while comparing vaccine mandates to fascism. I mean, I wouldn't go as far calling it fascism. I would say is part of the whole global homo agenda. But anyway, the Ottawa police have so far tried to de-escalate the protests rather than cracking down on it or arresting protesters when breaking various laws, an approach that has been drawn criticism from those who has seen a largely white crowd of anti-government protesters being given leeway in a country where First Nations people and people of color are often subject to far harsher policing. Of course, the whole this is all to do with white privilege and all of that. It's the same song and dance we hear over and over again. And protect the non-whites, protect the non-whites. They're not even fucking Canadian citizens. Why should we give them like carte blanche because they're non-whites? I mean, fuck off with that shit. The protest, which shows no sign of abating, is apparently costing the force $800,000 a day to handle. From news to politics, travel to sport. That's basically the end of the article right there. And it's not even over yet. I mean, obviously the protest is still going on to this day. There's actually been other articles about this. Let me see if I can find more about that. Let me see. Here's one here about the whole white supremacy claim. If I can get this up real quick. And there's this one right here. I'll just quickly showcase this and then I'll get back onto that real quick. So here we go. Parliamentarians condemn white supremacist convoy protests in Canada. So, of course, because of the fact that the large percentage of these protesters are white, of course they're going to claim the white supremacist argument. Of course, the parliamentary black process, basically the black politicians, a group made up of parliamentarians from Canada's Senate and House of Commons, has released a statement on the ongoing Freedom Convoy protests in Ottawa, stating the event is an opportunity for white supremacists to parade their views in public. or maybe they're just not fans of the current system, especially when it comes to the mandatory mandatory vaccinations regarding to that. But hey ho, what can be said about that? Some protesters brought symbols such as the swastika or the Confederate flag onto the Parliament Hill. See, when it comes to these articles, they never really showcase any evidence for that. I mean, there's a photograph. Do you see any swastikas? Do you see any Confederate flags or anything like that at all? I see Unite for Freedom. I see the Canadian flag there, but that's about it. I don't see anything like swastikas or anything like that at all. So again, I think this is just a case of of trying to paint a narrative that's certainly not true whatsoever. And Uncle Truth in the chat made a good point here. If it was black truckers, they'd be heroes. Exactly, they definitely would be praised as heroes. But funny enough, there's other Canadian. Well, I don't want to call them Canadian, but they're basically Indian truckers who are over in Canada, basically meant to be helping out with this. But you notice how they never even bother showing up to these protests as well, and the majority of the protesters are white. Again, it really paints a picture here of like people who are actually standing by their own principles and not caving in to the government's demand. Whereas the Indian workers, of course, they don't show any solidarity for the other truckers, but instead they're just going to continue on working for the government, which of course expected from Indians regarding to that. So, but anyway. Literally a case of citation needed. Yeah, especially when it comes to these photographs with that. Oh, they're holding up swastikas and Nazi flags. Okay, so do you have the evidence for that? Any footage of this? Any like photographs of this? So far I've not seen anything like that whatsoever. So, was there another article? Because I was just going to briefly touch upon that. Because again, it's basically the same stuff we covered just now with a previous article. Was there another one? I talked about that. I think that's me. I think the only thing I have left is just really a Twitter thread of the Freedom Convoy itself. I was trying to see if I could find anything that may have some people sparking out over that as well, but I don't know if I found anything like that, but it would be funny to see some people sparking out as well. Although there are videos of during the protests, like people giving out free burgers and hot dogs, just to feed the people there. Basically giving them food and drinks and whatnot, and of course trying to keep them warm and whatnot. So it's good stuff with that. Really is good stuff. That there's a lot of people that actually gain their support. Just real quick from John Erolzod. Chief Rudy, it was hanging from the press hotel where press and MP stay. Fair point. There's actually another point about this whole Freedom Convoy, that there was actually a GoFundMe that was completely taken off by GoFundMe themselves. I can't remember the exact amount. I think it was about, was it 4.5 million or something? No, I don't think it was some around about that amount, but it was quite a hefty amount. Regarding to the GoFundMe. And as I mentioned just now, GoFundMe actually took away the money from the Freedom Convoy and actually gave it to other charitable organizations that would be more left-leaning. Of course, they would do something like that. 10 million, fuck me, was it really that amount? Jesus. Yeah, so 10 million. So there you go, 10 million that was supposed to be given to the Freedom Convoy for GoFundMe, but alas, was taken by GoFundMe and given to these charitable organizations like the LGBT organizations, pro-lefty groups, you name it, that type of thing. Well, I'll show you this real quick. There's another site called Give, Send, Go, which is meant to be the polar opposite of, well, not polar opposite, but our answer to GoFundMe sort of thing. Well, as you can see with this tweet, this is from Art Taken Back. Breaking Freedom Convoy 2022 just hit 7.8 million on Give, Send, Go. Excellent stuff. Really good stuff to see that. So again, that's probably like another big fuck you to GoFundMe. So, but it's nice to see that the Freedom Convoy are actually getting a lot of support with that. So, Rosa, S&P sent a think tank to Canada, and they recommend it's on an inch of the tire trucks. Oh dear, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the S&P actually did that. Oh, I did see this video briefly. We'll definitely watch this. So another group of people spurging out over what the hell is this? Okay, got it. Spurging out over the protests themselves. What to do is it's 30 seconds long, but we'll get into that just now. So again, a bunch of NPCs, compliant motherfuckers who will just follow everything that the government tells them to do. And you can see the guy's eyes as a tweet says. So I'll just play it just now. So 3, 2, 1.
Why are you guys so angry? Why are they so angry? Angry fringe. Angry fringe minority. Angry fringe. Angry fringe. He ran up there and look how she's acting. This is going to be viral again.
Yeah, that's all they can do is just give the finger. They're a bunch of fucking LARPing twats. That something else. Oh dear. Let's see just now. Skyrim combat theme. Ah dear. I wonder if there's any more of that, because those two videos earlier on were just funny. Really were just funny. They want us to hate each other. Don't let them win. Picture of the day from Convoy Freedom Rally. Okay. Let's see. We'll have a look at this video real quick. Let's see. Crackheads. Indeed, resisting the lies. Work calls, night. No worries, Gamma Sandwich. Thanks very much for watching the show, and you enjoy your shift tonight, sir. Right. Is it still sharing? It's still sharing. I'll just play this video as well, and then we'll move on to something else. So 3, 2, 1.
He had been having a really good.
If you don't want to identify yourself, you don't have to. I'm just going to give you the camera.
This is my son, Jake. He was 34 years old. He died January 1st, New Year's Day of 21. His little girl turned a year old Christmas Eve. He died home of a fentanyl overdose. His cocaine was poisoned with fentanyl. He had been in recovery. He had been working. He had been having a really good year, for one of the best years he'd had in a long time. And then these shutdowns came along, and no more work, no more gyms, no more AA meetings. And on top of
Meme Peem is in the chat. Hello, Meme Peem. How you doing, sir? Thanks very much for watching. Appreciate you being here, brother.
all of that, the medicine he was using was made illegal. Ibogaine, something that cures addiction, in the middle of a pandemic, the Liberal government made it illegal, and he died. 7 months later, I lost my older son, 36 years old, the same thing, a fentanyl overdose. His job was gone, couldn't leave the house. Like, this is what Trudeau has done. This is what these lockdowns have done. So, I gave up my 2 sons, and I have people who want me to wear a mask. Well, when you want to give up 2 sons, I'll put on a mask for you. Until then, I'm not wearing a mask or injecting myself with anything. I'm going to do me from here on in. I want the government the hell out of my life. They murdered my children. And all of you that supported these lockdowns, you have blood on your hands. Blood.
Wow.
Every one of them should be charged. They need to be charged.
But she's right. She's absolutely right with saying that. In fact, you can even say there's a lot of similarities with what's been going on here in the UK. A lot of similar stories, in fact. It's heartbreaking. It's actually really heartbreaking hearing stories like that. And it really goes to show just how bad the lockdowns really were and how bad of an idea it really was. And all the people who supported the lockdowns, even to this very day, she said she's absolutely right in saying that they have blood in their hands, absolute blood on their hands. And the fact that they want to say to people like us, the unvaccinated are the bad people. I think that those vaccinated people, they need to look at themselves in the fucking mirror. So yeah, everything she said in just now in that video, absolutely 100% factual with that. I'm seeing in the chat a lot of 14s. I wonder if that's to do with the 14 purebloods rule. Oh, very, very good. Yeah. Only from Indigenous Advocate. 14 in the chat if you're a pureblood. I'll just put 14 with that as well. I would also say put 14 in the chat for the woman who in that video basically spoke her piece, because again she's absolutely right at what she said there. It's heartbreaking, but she was just basically telling the truth with that. So and Sally, thanks very much for watching the show. Everybody knows someone who has topped themselves in this past year. I mean, it's a pretty dark subject matter, but I'm sure there may be people who know someone like friend or family member who have taken their own life because of the lockdowns. Now, when it comes to say someone like my family members, my mum's uncle, he didn't kill himself, but he died of COVID regarding to that. So it did shook my family up a bit regard to that, but I mean everything's fine with that now. But again, it's similar to what we're talking about, these types of stories that was going on. So but yeah, so I'm gonna see if we can find a bit more when it comes to that. What's this? A hotel, once again, they're refusing to allow interest questions. Oh, so let's have a look at this. Am I still sharing this? I'm still sharing, right. Freedom Convoy 2022 organizers are having a press conference at 1 p.m. in a guest room at the Sheraton Hotel. Once again, they're refusing to allow CTV News to attend and ask questions.
Sorry, CTV's not allowed in? Is that what you're saying, Mr. Dichter? Sorry, CTV's not allowed in? Is that what you're saying, Mr. Dichter?
Oh, I see. So they're trying to make it out as if CTV are not allowed in. Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, CTV, I think, are like an established news outlet in Canada. So, of course, they'll probably be incredibly leftist and incredibly biased regarding to that. So, I wouldn't be surprised that maybe they actually were not allowed in. So, there you go. Access to a bridge with stay and changes were made. I wonder if there's any more spur outs when it comes to the videos, but hold on. Paris, right? Alaskan truckers who support the Canadian truckers, so that's good to see. In the Netherlands, the trucks are on the move in the Netherlands today. That's good to see. Let me see here. Shut down. Canada, Trudeau is now in huge trouble politically. Calling truckers racist and Nazis only increased support for them, and now his police are hurting old men, and it won't end well for Trudeau. Let's have a look at this.
What are you doing? Hey! That's assault! I've got it all on video. Yeah, he failed to ID. Get back! Hey! Get back! Get back! We're back. We're filming. We're doing our part. Get back! It's all on video. No, don't say anything. Don't say anything. You're a fucking goof. Hey, Ritz, stand down. Stand down. Ritz, no, it's peaceful. No, let them do.
Attack me, you fucking goof. Fucking not doing shit. Touch me, punk ass.
This is going right to the media. YouTube. What's your name and badge number? 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 Look, they're hurting an old man, a Canadian citizen. It's communism. This is communism. He's scared. Communist.
You stand with the communist fucking government.
Call your police chief. He'll back you up.
Call the police.
Call your police chief.
Scumbags. Yeah, I think we're seeing more of this recently with the police force in Canada that really are going out of their way to basically abuse their powers. to the Canadian citizens who are part of the protests. Absolute fucking scumbags. And you know what? Actually, an even bigger scumbag with this would be Justin Trudeau, because he's the one who were calling the protesters violent thugs and neo-Nazis and all of that. No place for hatred and all of that. And yet, look at them. They're abusing their powers and basically showcasing what true communist scumbags these fuckers really are. Absolutely fucking disgraceful. Just disgraceful, man. I want to see if there's that there's another Spurgout video, because it's about 25 past 7, and I think I think I'll end the stream tonight at 7:30 tonight, because I'm feeling a little bit tired just now with that. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed tonight's episode, and hopefully I'll be back this Sunday. But again, any updates or anything like that at all, I'll keep you guys posted on either on Telegram or on YouTube. So keep an eye out for that for any future updates. I can't really see any more Spurgouts with that. Well, that's fine. Right, what to do is I'll see if I can play a song to play us out with. Unless I'll stay around for another 4 minutes and then I'll end the stream at 7:30 with a song. But yes, indeed, English Rose is absolutely just disgusting behavior. They can do that to an old man. Really, it's absolutely disgusting. There was actually one thing I forgot to mention just before we end the show tonight. It's in the description underneath the stream just now. But if you would like to support me financially regarding to for my work, whether it be live streams or future videos or anything like that at all, you can always donate to me through PayPal directly or by my Ko-fi page, or even follow me on those particular platforms. Again, that is only if you want to support me financially in regard to that. You can either do this while I'm online through Mood of the Nation, or whenever an episode of Mood of the Nation is live, or if I'm not live, you can always donate to me whenever you want to. Again, please, when I'm saying that, please don't feel obligated if you have to. It's a case of, if you want to donate to me financially, the option is there regarding to that, and you can find the links for my PayPal and Ko-fi in the description down below. Again, if you guys want to with that. So anyway, it was something that I was going to mention at the start of the show, and only the one time, but I forgot to do so. But I've mentioned it just now, so hopefully you guys, if you can, and if you want to, can show your support financially when it comes to PayPal and Ko-fi with that. So, or even follow me on Ko-fi if you want to with that. So, right then, maybe a couple more minutes. If you guys have any questions to ask, just feel free to ask, and then we'll see. Nobody, don't go. I'm sorry, but I'm just a little bit tired at the moment. I did say at the start of the stream I was going to stick around for maybe up until 7:30 tonight anyway, because again, I was a little bit tired. I think I pretty much covered like what I was going to cover tonight anyway, so there's really no point of going on after that. But anyway, so let me see. Freemasons are open to attack by the righteous. Let me see here. Now, folks, Anglo-Saxon, thanks very much for watching the show. I think there's people leaving, which, again, I don't blame them. So, thumbs up for Midi. Thanks very much, Indigenous Advocate. I think there's other streams on tonight. I know Wesley will be live tonight with his show. Nefarious, that's what it's called. And I think that's going to be live at 8 or 9 p.m. tonight. I'll see if I can share the post tonight on Telegram or whatnot, so that way people can go and watch Wesley's show from there. I think John Davidson, or the Brethren Pensioner, will be live tonight, and I think that's about it. I don't know if there's anyone else who'll be live tonight, but if I see anything, I'll keep you guys posted as well with that in the chat and all of that. Oh yes, thanks, Aunt Sally, for pointing that out. Amigos News is on at 8 p.m. So there we go. If you want to check that out, please feel free to give them a sub and also watch their stream tonight. I think Bonnie Lad is on at 8 p.m. Is he not? Yeah, I think Aunt Sally pointed that out with the Amigos News is at 8 p.m. So yeah. Excellent. Yeah, so definitely check out those shows if you want to with that later on. And from Joe, real quick, get me and the Taffs back on a show. Yeah, well, I'm sure we can arrange something with that, Joe. I'm sure we can arrange that in a later date. Oh, speaking of which, hold on 1 second. From Rory Herbert, he donated £3 to my Ko-fi. Thank you very much, Rory. I really appreciate your generosity. Really appreciate that. Thanks very much. And hopefully people, again, with that, might do the same when it comes to if I'm online or offline, either on Ko-fi or even on PayPal. But again, Rory, thanks very much for the £3 donation. I really appreciate your generosity with that. Let me see. Yeah, just an email about that. That's fine. Thanks again, Rory. I appreciate that. Excellent. I think people are saying thanks very much for the show. Really appreciate you all coming here. Again, I'll keep you guys posted for updates for future streams. I'll see if I'll be back for Sunday. Not entirely too sure, but we'll see. Because again, I think this weekend and next weekend is going to be really busy with myself and also for PA Scotland. But I'll keep you guys posted with that for any updates for future episodes. And also, it actually may be beneficial for me in terms of brainstorming for future ideas, because I actually want to do something for one particular episode. I don't know if it will be episode 68 or 69, but I'll keep you guys posted with that. I might want to do something for either one of those two episodes, but we'll see from there. We'll definitely see with that. Great seeing in chat as always. We are the best. We definitely are the best. Tricky Beacon. Thank you for your comment, and also everyone else for your comments as well. Thank you all so much for your ongoing support, whether it's just continuing on watching the streams or donating to me financially. I always appreciate your generosity and your support. All of that, Trips. I really do appreciate your support with that, everyone. So what I'll do is, because I talked about the SNP earlier on, and I think even Meme Peen was in the chat earlier on just now. I don't know if he's still there, but what I'll do is I'm going to play a song, but not just any song. I think it's a song by a group called, let me see. I think I can find it here. It should be able, I think it's still there if I'm not mistaken, but let me see. From Kinsfolk, yes. She's a Traitor by Kinsfolk. I'll play, I think I've played the song before, but I'll play it again just for the stream as well. So let me see here. Ode to Dying People by Saga Dude. I think I'll play that song when you guys come on next, Joe, if you want. But I'll definitely play this song because I've talked about the S&P with that. So let's see. So this is a song, She's a Traitor by Kinsfolk. Again, I played this before. I'll just play it for as the ending theme for tonight's episode. So Chad, Buddy, cheers for playing the tune. No worries, Meme Peen. Always going to be supporting your work and all of that. So excellent. So again, thanks very much for watching tonight's episode. I really hope you've all enjoyed tonight's episode. Hopefully I'll be back, but we'll definitely see with that. Just keep your eyes posted on Telegram or YouTube.
Is the reminder that racism is a baneful evil. It is a disease that impacts every single one.
I don't know why that's playing, but anyway, sorry. Right, I'll just go ahead and silence myself and I'll play the song. So thanks again. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the 63rd episode of the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I shall see you in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you and good night. Take care.
Shalom. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to endorse the Jewish Manifesto for Scotland.
However, Yousaf is refusing to include the defence, telling the committee scrutinising the bill that hate speech in the home should be criminal.
She is a traitor, worse than all the rest, giving us the finger and the new Scots are the best. She is a gangster, but her cult members don't care in which she lies. My jaw drops to the floor, she is a traitor. I find it frightening, neighbours acting as their spy. coming down like thunder on your family dropping by. She is a chancer, and we're just pawns in her schemes. Remember that she really is as evil as she seems. She is a traitor. She is a traitor. No happy endings if their master plan comes true. Stand up for yourself because it won't be good for you. I think I love her. She lets Hamza have my kin, and we'll be jailed in no time. Our free speech is in the bin, 'cause she's a traitor. 'Cause she's a traitor. How can they win seats when they only suit themselves? Look at what the woke bring, and it's not good for our health. Be gone, you cancer. Want no future you've designed because you lie and demonise our love for our own kind. She is a traitor. No happy endings if their master plan comes true. Stand up for yourself because it won't be good for you. I think I love her. She lets Hamza have my kin, and we'll be jailed in no time. Our free speech is in the bin, 'cause she's a traitor.
If you choose to live in Scotland, then as far as I'm concerned, you're Scottish. Whether you were born here and 3 generations of your family were born here, or whether you've only lived here for a few months.